I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
Rachel Zegler, once seen as the fresh face destined to lead a new era in Hollywood, is now facing what may be the most dangerous chapter of her young career. After a meteoric rise, fueled by her breakout performance in West Side Story and the high-profile role of Snow White, Zegler seemed unstoppable. But behind the camera of her latest project, She Gets It From Me, a storm has been brewing. The film, which was positioned as a low-budget, character-driven piece designed to showcase her dramatic range, has instead become the backdrop for a mounting professional and legal disaster. The situation has reached such a critical point that studio executives are seriously considering what is often considered the nuclear option in filmmaking: removing the lead actor in the middle of production. This kind of move is not only rare, it's logistically and financially devastating.
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
Reshooting scenes, rewriting the script, and reworking entire narratives could cost the studio millions. Yet that's the conversation now happening behind closed doors. And it's not based on rumors. It's the result of documented behavioral issues, confirmed violations of contractual agreements, and a cascade of production delays tied directly to Zegler's on-set conduct. What was supposed to be her redemption arc has turned into a cinematic crisis, with trust eroding fast and reputations, hers most of all, hanging in the balance. This isn't speculation or tabloid gossip. This is a full-blown legal emergency. The studio's legal department has been activated and is now deeply embedded in the crisis surrounding Rachel Zegler's role in She Gets It From Me. According to internal confirmations, the team is meticulously reviewing every clause of her contract, including strict non-disparagement and confidentiality agreements that Zegler has allegedly violated in public. These aren't minor missteps. She has posted live streams, TikToks, and social media updates mocking the controversy, openly referencing the tension on set, and even implying that others are ignoring her calls, while brushing it off with flippant comments. Legal teams are treating this digital footprint as a documented breach, a potentially costly one that could justify her immediate removal from the project.
I'm a narcissist.
The contract language is being dissected line by line as the studio weighs whether they can invoke separation clauses without triggering a full production shutdown. But the legal effort isn't just reactive, it's strategic. Multiple backup plans are now in motion behind the scenes, ranging from partial reshoots with a new actress to using body doubles, voiceovers, and clever editing techniques to minimize Zegler's presence in the final cut. Every one of these options comes with a price tag, and that's where the stakes skyrocket. She Gets It From Me was a tightly budgeted indie film meant to rely on raw emotion, not expensive CGI. Now, thanks to the unraveling chaos, producers are staring down the barrel of potential delays, increased costs, and investor backlash. The film's modest budget, originally a strength, has become a critical vulnerability. If this spirals further, the entire production could collapse, burning through millions and destroying the credibility of everyone attached to it.
And then it became like, I will elbow everyone out of the way to play the part.
This isn't a moment of pause or quiet concern. This is an emergency room-level triage to save the film's future. Executives are no longer trying to control the narrative. They're trying to contain the financial fallout. The involvement of legal counsel marks a turning point in any Hollywood crisis, and here, their presence confirms the gravity of the situation. The film isn't just at risk, it's on life support, and Rachel Zegler's behavior may be what pulls the plug. Here's what we know, and it's confirmed by studio records and legal documentation. Rachel Zegler, who was cast in a supporting but emotionally pivotal role opposite Academy Award winner Marisa Tomei in She Gets It From Me, was handed a rare second chance, an opportunity to rehabilitate her public image after her widely criticized press appearances during the Snow White media tour. The film was meant to showcase Zegler's dramatic range, moving away from commercial blockbusters and placing her in an intimate, character-driven story grounded in realism. It was a role written with nuance, meant to contrast with her earlier work and let audiences see her depth as a serious actress. But instead of redemption, what unfolded was reputational freefall.
Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Studio lawyers are now formally involved due to Zegler's alleged breach of contract, specifically her violation of strict non-disparagement and confidentiality clauses. These are standard in major productions, designed to protect a film's integrity during development. Zegler not only ignored them, she mocked them. In multiple public videos and live streams, she directly referenced the behind-the-scenes drama. She joked about being ignored by cast and crew, brushed off the growing backlash, and even referred to herself as double the trouble, a nod to her dual role in the film that landed more like a jab at the chaos than a playful tease. These clips weren't harmless social media fluff. Legal teams have officially cataloged them as potential breaches of contract, citing them in ongoing internal assessments of her future with the project. What's more alarming is the tone of her content. Rather than address the growing concerns with professionalism or silence, Zegler chose a flippant, almost mocking approach, treating the production's unraveling atmosphere as if it were a running joke.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
This behavior is now detailed in internal memos as dismissive, disruptive, and highly detrimental to cast and crew morale. Multiple legal representatives have confirmed that these public statements and online posts have had a measurable impact on the work environment, creating an atmosphere that several departments now formally describe as toxic and unstable. Her actions haven't just broken trust, they've created a potential legal and financial liability. What began as a soft rebrand has now hardened into a full-blown crisis, and any hope of salvaging her public image through this film may have already been erased by her own hand. Cameras may have started rolling on She Gets It From Me, but any momentum the production once had has come to a grinding halt. What should have been a smooth, emotionally driven shoot has deteriorated into daily chaos. According to official production logs and internal documentation reviewed by the studio's legal team, the film's schedule is now severely compromised.
Disney is hosting a Hollywood premiere of Snow White on March 15th, but the studio won't be rolling out a robust red carpet. That's right, the premiere is just, don't tell anybody, they have to do it.
Scenes have been delayed or rescheduled multiple times, sometimes with just hours' notice. Entire call sheets have been torn apart and reissued midday. The production calendar, once planned down to the minute, has become a maze of last-minute changes, crew substitutions, and location reassignments. At the center of nearly every disruption, according to formal reports, is Rachel Zegler. Crew members have been shuffled in and out of departments in what insiders have called damage containment, with some specifically requesting reassignment just to avoid working in close proximity to Zegler's trailer. The atmosphere on set, described in crew notes as tense, highly emotional, and at times hostile, has forced the production to adjust even the most basic logistics, like meal breaks, hair and makeup timing, and rehearsal slots, to accommodate what one production manager labeled unpredictable lead talent behavior. But one incident in particular brought the situation into sharper focus. During a blocked scene, a critical stage of production where movement, camera placement, and timing are rehearsed, Zegler reportedly erupted into a heated shouting match with the assistant director. The argument escalated in front of cast and crew, bringing filming to a dead stop. According to the formal complaint filed with production leadership, Zegler had rejected a scene direction, then proceeded to challenge the crew's interpretation of the script, refusing to proceed until her personal changes were made. The assistant director later documented the event in a statement, citing emotional distress and a hostile working environment. This complaint is now in the hands of the studio's legal department, under review for breach of behavioral clauses in Zegler's contract.
Nothing has brought me greater joy than watching the Walt Disney Company absolutely panic over the last few weeks.
Other department heads, including those from wardrobe, lighting, and sound, have submitted written reports detailing what they describe as ongoing and disruptive behavior. The reports list repeated emotional outbursts, late arrivals without explanation, and direct refusals to follow standard blocking or dialogue. According to those memos, these outbursts often delayed entire departments, with basic functions like costume fittings and mic checks pushed back repeatedly, triggering a domino effect across the set. The cumulative result is a production buckling under the weight of internal conflict. Crew morale is at an all-time low, daily productivity has plummeted, and what should have been a lean, intimate shoot has ballooned into a logistical nightmare. For the studio's legal counsel and production leads, the question is no longer about whether this conduct is problematic. It's about how long the film can continue without collapsing entirely under the strain. Rachel Zegler's contract for She Gets It From Me, like all high-level film agreements, contains strict confidentiality and non-disparagement clauses. These legal provisions are not suggestions. They are binding commitments meant to protect the integrity of the project and shield the production from public controversy while filming is underway. By signing, Zegler agreed not to disclose behind-the-scenes details, make negative statements about the film, or do anything that could damage its reputation. But rather than upholding those terms, Zegler has repeatedly violated them in full view of the public, and with a tone that has left studio executives stunned. In a series of now infamous TikToks, live streams, and social media posts, Zegler made light of the escalating drama on set. In one live stream, she waved off the mounting backlash, smirking as she said, "Everyone's just ignoring my phone calls. Whatever, it's chill." In another widely circulated video, she quipped, "There's two of me, double the trouble. Am I right?" A self-referential nod to her dual role in the film that, rather than disarming the controversy, fanned the flames. These posts came at a time when the production was already on edge, morale was plummeting, and the studio was scrambling to contain the fallout. Her comments weren't vague. They directly referenced the chaos, and did so with a cavalier, dismissive attitude that made it nearly impossible for her team to defend her actions.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
What Zegler may have thought were throwaway jokes or edgy personality clips are now being treated as legal evidence. The studio's legal department has compiled a full dossier of her digital footprint since the start of production. Every TikTok, every Instagram post, every live stream replay, even deleted content has been archived using third-party tools and fan reposts. This isn't just social media chatter, it's a growing body of potential breach of contract evidence. Legal advisors have categorized each instance, linking the content to specific violations of the clauses she agreed to uphold. Her use of sarcasm and self-mockery, while possibly intended as damage control or deflection, is now formally interpreted as disparagement, an active effort to undermine the film's image while it's still in development. No one at the studio is laughing. In fact, those clips may become the cornerstone of a legal justification for Zegler's removal from the project. If the studio chooses to sever ties, these videos could shield them from wrongful termination claims and pave the way for financial recovery. What Zegler broadcasted to her followers in real time is now a case study in what not to do during a PR crisis. The camera wasn't just rolling on set, it was rolling on her phone, capturing every moment that might cost her the role, the film, and possibly her career. And neither is the studio. While Zegler continues to project indifference online, executives behind She Gets It From Me are locked in high-level emergency meetings, exploring every contingency available to save the film from total collapse.
And therefore, it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for in the world.
These aren't creative brainstorming sessions, they're surgical crisis responses. Multiple fallback strategies are now on the table, each more drastic than the last. The most aggressive option, and the one generating the most internal discussion, is full recasting. This would involve replacing Zegler entirely, mid-production, with a new actress, reshooting all of her completed scenes, and carefully navigating the fallout with unions, agents, and legal representatives. It's the most disruptive and expensive route, but one the studio is seriously considering as the situation becomes increasingly untenable. Other plans under review include rewriting the script to minimize Zegler's presence without removing her completely. This could involve reshaping the story so that her character appears only briefly or is referenced through dialogue, voiceovers, or off-screen interactions. It's a narrative workaround meant to preserve the emotional core of the film, anchored by Marissa Tomei, while cutting out the chaos. One particularly technical strategy under discussion involves using digital doubles, body stand-ins, and facial replacement technology to complete scenes without requiring Zegler to return to set. This option would demand post-production wizardry typically reserved for sci-fi or action films, not low-budget dramas. But at this point, no idea is too unconventional if it means getting the film across the finish line without further derailment. Every one of these alternatives comes with a cost: financial, logistical, and reputational. But for the studio, it's no longer a question of cost versus convenience. It's about survival. What was once seen as a passion project is now viewed through a crisis management lens. The risk of keeping Zegler on board is being weighed against the expense and difficulty of proceeding without her. If the studio hesitates too long, the window to salvage the film may slam shut entirely. This isn't a matter of creative vision or artistic differences. This is triage. Every hour the issue remains unresolved, the damage spreads. Investor confidence wavers, internal morale dips lower, and public perception grows more volatile. With a tight budget, a tight timeline, and an increasingly toxic headline swirling around the lead actress, the clock isn't just ticking, it's running out. And the studio knows it.